Exactly 9 p.m. East African time. Many thanks for joining us right here on Lookuptv. My name is John Matava. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Josephine Oko. We have a lot for you tonight, including a discussion later on in the bulletin all about illicit brew crackdown bid for the AU top position. But first, let's take a look at what's happening on the trending and the highlights tonight. Tonight, government spokesperson Auc Chairperson now says the government will accord Azimio leader Raila Odinga all the support he needs to secure the African Union top job. President William Ruto now wants an African Union economic summit that will help chart the continent's economic pathway. And the Ministry of Health to table a bill to set guidelines on healthcare provision in the country. Many thanks for joining us from wherever you're watching from. You can be part of the bulletin and conversation later on by engaging us on our socials at Lookuptv. Once again, our sign language interpreter tonight is Felista Adundo. Let's get started. The government will fully support Azimio Chief Raila Odinga'S bid to succeed Musa Faki Mahamat as the chairperson of the African Union Commission. This according to the government spokesperson Auc Chairperson. As Mevin Getembe now files, Maura now says if the bid will be successful, OT will be the big win for the country.
Days after making public his intentions to vie for the African Union Commission chairmanship with former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo by his side,
we're inclined to accept the challenge. Should the leadership of Africa want my services, I am ready and offer myself to be of service to this continent.
The former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has received backing from the Kenya Kwanza government, vowing to rally support for the opposition chief, saying he is ripe to offer the position.
Fully support the candidature of President Right Honorable Raila Odinga to be the AU Commission Chair, so that we can safeguard the interests of our country as a country, because when you advance, you want to go and lead in matters of foreign policy, it benefits the country. But also to ensure that in the spirit of Pan-Africanism, Africa is able to advance its interests.
And if Odinga qualifies, the AU chairperson, who is equivalent to the CEO of the continental bloc, will be tasked with critical responsibilities like controlling and accounting for finances of the organ. The chairperson will enjoy a monthly salary of approximately 2 million shillings and allowance for his eligible children, and transition to the AU job could be a subtle exit from the local politics. The AUC chairperson positions has a 4-year tenure, with his mandate of the office being renewable once, and the position is categorized as a full-time diplomatic assignment. The second annual retreat for the government and senior members in the government is set to commence tomorrow at Lake Naivasha Resort. The retreat, according to Maura, is aimed at evaluating the government's achievement and assess the alignment of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda plan.
Things are improving, and let's give credit where it is due. All of the things that this government is doing, led by His Excellency President William Ruto, they are mounting to something. And we believe this is the year of performance. This is a year of performance, and that is why, ladies and gentlemen, we then do have the retreat. And so therefore, allow me to say
the AU debate comes as President William Ruto gets appointed as the African Union champion for the institutional reform by the Assembly of the African Union heads of state and the government in Addis Ababa. Mevin Getembe, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Many thanks, Mevin Getembe, and once again our sign language interpreter tonight is Josephine Oko. Let's continue. The government will commence a 4-day retreat tomorrow in Naivasha to review the performance of the cabinet secretaries, permanent secretaries, and the top government officials with the aim of evaluating significant achievements in various sectors. The program was launched in 2022 to assess the government's performance in its 23 ministries along 52 government government departments and 348 non-governmental organizations. The Ministry of Health intends to table a bill in the National Assembly on guidelines regarding the quality of health care. According to Principal Secretary State Department of the Health, Mary Muthoni, the bill is aimed at ensuring all health facilities are up to required standard in a bid to ensure proper health care provision to Kenyans.
Ensuring Kenyans have access to better health care being top of President William Ruto's agenda, the Ministry of Health will now table a bill in Parliament set to give guidelines on the quality of care in hospitals across the country. According to the Principal Secretary, State Department of Health, Mary Muthoni, the bill will aid in assessing the state of the over 14,000 health facilities across the country, with that being the first step in ensuring the quality of health care is improved.
We are already in the process of drafting the quality of care bill. We've already done the assessment of levels of all the hospitals in the country, more than 14,000 health facilities in the country. So what is remaining is knowing what will these health facilities bring on the table. Will the human resources for health in these health facilities perform properly their mandate? Do we have the right equipment and modern ones to give the quality that we deserve?
With the new health scheme expected to take effect in coming weeks, the PS noted that facilities that will be approved under the bill will be allowed to offer health services under the Social Health Insurance Fund.
And when they are inspected, they will be approved. And those are the health facilities that will be used at the Social Health Insurance Authority. They'll be recommended to be serving the people using the social health.
In addition, with registration of Kenyans under the scheme expected to start on the 1st of March, Muthoni assured Kenyans of provision of better healthcare under the scheme, with the expenses of those in the lowest cadre of life to be paid by the national government.
1st of March, we are sure that, God willing, we will be able to start the registration process of the social health insurance. It is good for Kenyans, it is good for all of us, so that we also do not keep subjecting only the people with a pay slip to pay for insurance. The health facilities at the bottom of the pyramid, the level 2, when you go to hospital, you will not be charged. And as you progress to other levels, then you will be subjected to produce your social health insurance card. And finally, somebody may ask, what about those who cannot afford? The government has a way of getting to know the economic status of each and every individual in the country.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
60% of the amount collected by the Kenya Revenue Authority is used for paying debt. The rest is for paying salaries and the funding counties. This makes it difficult to finance development in the country. This is according to the National Treasury PS Chris Kipto. And as Brian Amwai now reports, the PS says the country short revenue forces the government to borrow in order to finance developments.
The government's decision to take another Eurobond loan has taken the country into a moment of disarray, with critics arguing that it was not the right move. The new loan now puts the public debt at 10 trillion, with 51% of the debt being external debt. The new $1.5 billion loan was acquired in order to offset the earlier $2 billion loan, whose maturity was coming up in July. However, an extra $1 billion loan has been added to the initial loan, surging the public debt. National Treasury PS now says the loan was a good move, as the nation will use the money to offset current loans, saying that the remaining balance will be offset by July.
Eurobond was a big problem because it had caused the wrong perception, because many people believed we will not be able to pay. So, but now we have sorted this problem once and for all. And by today, yesterday, I can confirm to you, all the 1.5 billion which we issued, we have received and we have used to settle through what we call a buyback, the 1.5. So what is remaining now on the 2 billion euro bond is 500 million, sorry, 500 million. What is remaining now is 500 million, which we have factored in through our current budget to settle. And I can confirm to you that we will settle by the June deadline that we have. So if you are fearing about Eurobond, we have now settled. So
in last year's budget, the government increased taxes to meet budget demands and pay debts. However, KRA failed to reach its target, forcing the government to go back and borrow the remaining amount to finance its budget. Speaking during the meeting with businessmen in Eldoret, Chris Kipto, the Principal Secretary, National Treasury, says the government is trying to minimize expenditures, with expected collection from KRA this year standing at 3 trillion. The total expenditure is 3.9 trillion, having a deficit of 900 million. This is due to loss of value of a shilling to the dollar.
Mapato yetu hailingani na matumizi. Ile pesa ya matumizi hailingani na pesa ile tunapata. Ile mapato kutoka kwa KRA, asilimia 60 tunaitumia kwanza kulipia deni. Na hiyo ni pesa mingi sana. Ile inabaki kwa tunalipa mishahara na ile matumizi kidogo kidogo ya wafanyikazi, na tunalipa counties. Kwa hivyo kufanya maendeleo, pesa inatubidi tuende tuchukue deni.
KRA has not met the target of 200 billion expected. The government's target is to hit 1.5 trillion by July, but to date, they have only managed to get 1.3 trillion. Branham Wai, Lookuptv.
Many thanks, Brian Amwai. Away from that, President William Ruto has rooted for the setting up of the Africa Economic Summit, which would chart the continent's development path. Speaking at the 37th ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Ruto said the summit would then invite friends countries from other parts of the world and corporations and philanthropists to give their views and ways as well.
The 37th African Union Summit is still ongoing in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Speaking today at the Committee of African Heads of State and Government on Climate Change, President William Ruto emphasized on the need for African states to reform international financial architecture, especially on the strength of the African currencies.
We have also managed to change the conversation and position the reform of the international financial architecture appropriately.
Ruto, who is now the African Union champion for institutional reforms, has continuously rooted for continental institutions that will aid in mushrooming its growth internationally.
We recognize these institutions, namely the Afrexim Bank, Trade and Development Bank, Africa Finance Corporation, Africa Reinsurance Corporation, Africa Trade and Investment Development Insurance, and Shelter Afrique as agencies of this institution of AU, significantly to put a badge of approval or a stamp of approval on these institutions as African institutions that will support our own growth using our own institutions.
Additionally, the president steered for the setting up of the Africa Economic Summit, which would chart the continent's development path. He argues that this summit shall invite necessary stakeholders for collective ideologies.
We also undertake to fashion an African Economic Summit and invite friends, countries that want to work with us, corporations that want to work with us, philanthropies.
Nevertheless, Africa has been urged to manufacture their own vaccines in order to curb vaccine nationalism. AU resolving that by the year 2040, 60% of vaccines used in Africa will be produced locally, which will be underpinned by solid research capacity in vaccines.
The time has come for the African Union member states to take bold and decisive steps in implementing homegrown solutions to our health security challenges. As regards vaccines, we must build a holistic ecosystem incorporating the entire value chain all the way from research and development to clinical trials, local production, as well as efficient distribution and delivery.
RUTO was in the company of several cabinet secretaries, inclusive of Aden
The
Duale
success of
and
vaccine
Susan
manufacturing
Nahumicha.
initiative is predicated on a regional approach to ensure sustainability and supporting the continental harmonization of efforts in the areas of regulatory affairs, research and development, and most importantly, the workforce development that is required. Heads of states and government will amplify the rallying call for vaccine manufacturing capacity through building end-to-end project-driven vaccine initiatives while emphasizing the need for a self-sufficient and sustainable vaccine ecosystem in Africa.
Ruga Ival, Lookuptv.
You're watching Look Up Weekend. Many thanks for staying with us. 17 minutes, top of the hour. We are off for a break. We'll be coming back with more news for you. Stick around.
Madam tu naomba kuwa tu impatient. Juice zako unapata tu saa hii.
Na uharakishe, customers wanangoja. Na this round ulete juice ya kutosha. Manze last time uliniaibisha.
Ni sawa, nileta tu chap tu saa hii manze.
Aha, vipi? Uko sawa? Unaitwa nani?
Mimi naitwa Kibe Wanduthi.
In case Loto ikupige boost ya 100k, utafanyia nini?
100k? Ati kiso?
Yes.
Ai, manze, nanunua tu nduthi nyingine, hivyo nipate mse mwingine wa kunisaidia kufanya delivery. Tu manze ni kibao tu excess.
Na je, Loto ikikupiga boost ya new Toyota Probox?
What a jokes. A new Toyota Probox. Buda, manze nitakuwa nimejijenga. Nitakuwa nikipiga tu trip moja tu hivi. Manze nishafanya delivery zangu zote. Walai.
What about? Kijenge jiboost na Loto. Anza mwaka na Loto Jijenge Boost. Kila siku kuna guaranteed business boost worth 100,000 na up to 1 million ndani ya hourly draws. Jipange nyumbani na 100,000 shopping vouchers. Boost biashara yako na 1 million or a brand new Toyota Probox kila wiki na up to 200 million shillings ndani ya Grand Mega Jackpot every Wednesday and Saturday. Changamka, jiboost na ujipange na Loto. Ingia M-Pesa Paybill 777-000. Account Look amount 50 bob to 2,000 na ujisort na Loto Mega Boost. Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. BCLB number 000898.
Changamka, cheza Loto.
If you want to have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the wheels and gears of the integral businesses in the country.
And I want to be able to make the youths and everybody coming up in Kenya know that this is here locally.
Men and women in the thick of the burst of markets rising and falling, fighting to make their business decisions stick.
I've always lived in my career that I can never be late.
You need to train by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Then from there you can compose yourself and give kind of services like this.
On season 2 of the Captain's Arena, we seek the inside of the minds, predict the shift in the market, get inspiration to start and make sense of it all.
Just watch what everybody else is doing and just make sure you're giving back to the society.
Oof. This is the Captain's Arena.
Are you a junior secondary school, a college, a TVET institution or a university and you want to advertise your intake? Book now and advertise with us today on both Lookuptv and all our digital platforms. Call us today. Or email us on sales@lookuptv.co.ke.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue. Business came to a standstill in Bungoma town after hired bulldozer demolished structures purported to be the road reserves to pave way for a road expansion. As George Kayesi now narrates, angry traders were seen trying to salvage their belongings before the bulldozer, in the company of the county and police officers, brought down the Jamia Mosque business structures.
This is the picture in Bungoma town. Traders are counting huge losses after the county government demolished the business structures for allegedly being built on road reserves.
Mimi ni mmoja wao ambao nimekuwa na duka hapa kwa msikiti. Imetustajabisha sana kwa sababu jana jioni ndio watu wa kutoka kwa county government walikuja wakiweka X kwa manyumba. Na tulipowauliza watakuja kubomoa siku gani, hawakuwa na jibu. Lakini sasa leo mchana tumeshtukia tu lori imekuja na mapolisi na tukaambiwa tutoe vitu zetu ndani. Tumekata license za hii mwaka. Kuanzia Januari tumekuwa tukikata permit and we have already done that. Lakini haijalishi kama wamechukua pesa zetu. Walikuwa wanachukua permit kama walikuwa wanajua wanakuja kubomoa nyumba. Hawange tukatisha license. Sasa tumekata license, hatuna mahali pa kwenda. Wengine wetu tunaenda kuhangaika. Hatujui tunaenda wapi.
According to the business owners, they have been paying license fees to the county government and taxes, lamenting that the demolition has left them stranded amid the high cost of living.
Shairo kuzingine tuko nazo kwa sababu vile maisha inatupeleka mbio. Kumbuka ndio tumepeleka watoto shule hii Januari. Kwa hivyo tulikuwa tumechukua pesa kwa benki, zingine tumechukua kwa watu binafsi ndio tufanye biashara na tupeleke watoto shule. You can imagine loan yenye ulichukua Januari unaweza kuwa umelipa miezi 2. Ndio tumechukua pesa tuanzie kuweka stocks. Hata hatujui tuanzie wapi.
The demolition has sparked outrage from a section of leaders in Bungoma County who have slammed both the county and national government for applying double standards by humiliating the same people they promised to improve their lives by creating job opportunities and supporting their hustle.
Tunashtumu mambo ya serikali ya Kenya Kwanza na serikali ya kaunti ya Bungoma kwa hiki kitendo ya kinyama ya kuvunja mali ya wananchi. Is this the bottom up that we were told? Hii ndio mambo ya mahustlers, ile inaonyesha watu wadogo wanafurushwa, wanaumizwa, wanavunjwa biashara yao, wanatolewa. Yale mambo ambayo yanaendelea ni mambo si yale Mheshimiwa William Ruto na serikali yake waliahidi wa Kenya.
The exercise is said to proceed in different areas of Bungoma County after several buildings have been marked indicating they are set to be demolished. George Kayesi, Lookuptv.
Tension has escalated in Tambalal village, West Pokot County, after several houses were torched and property worth millions destroyed. The incident involves a 100-acre, 48-year land tussle, with residents blaming hired goons who were sent to destroy property and evict people who claim they have rightfully owned the land for decades.
An arson attack has left houses burnt to ashes. Residents of this area of Tambalal village in West Pokot County wailing for the loss and damage that has been meted on them. The residents were forced to flee after what they term as a hired goon attacked the area, rendering them homeless. All this in the name of who owns the land.
Sasa iko msoso ya shamba na hii shamba iko kotini na watu iko ndani ya shell kwa sababu ya shamba. Sisi tunangoja maneno ya kotini.
The long-standing land dispute pitting two functions of 100 acres of ancestral land has left scores of residents out in the cold. Affected families are now camping under trees in the bushes, 3 kilometers away, with some children getting lost. The family are now counting huge losses as they appeal to the county and national government to intervene in the matter and give them humanitarian aid.
Kaingia wakati wakaanza kutumulika na torch. Sasa sikuwa ina position ningeweza kuona ni akina nani juu wametumulika na torch. Nikiangalia huko naona hiyo nini, hiyo light ya walikuwa na kitu kama sun king itatendeka.
Hata kwa sasa hatujui tunaenda wapi. Watoto wetu wengine wako boarding school.
Mother Kennedy, a local one, that the situation could degenerate into bloody conflict, adding that they will not sit back any longer as their property was looted and destroyed.
Amekuja asubuhi, amekuja kufamia, sijui wakina nani, sijui hii watu wanatoka wapi. Amekuja kuchoma nyumba na vitu ya nyumba na mangua, kila kitu kwa nyumba hakuna.
Kipkomo Sub-County Police Commandant Adano Abukula said the 13 families who had gone to court were defeated and they were to be evicted. Adano said that the eviction notice came last year, but they were yet to execute the process because they were following the due process, adding that those who won the case have become impatient. Abdi Majid Hussein, Lookuptv.
Despite the government directive and utterances by the head of state and his deputy cautioning school heads over burdening parents with additional levies, a section of school heads in Nakuru have been accused of devising ways of circumnavigating government guidelines on school fees to introduce extra charges. According to some parents in Nakuru, the demand for other hidden charges have locked their children out of school, as the government maintains that it remains to be committed to achieving the 100% transition into secondary school education.
With
the government heavily focusing on 100% transition, parents and guardians from Nakuru have raised concerns over the inability to afford additional fees, which have prevented their children from accessing education. According to the parents, their children risk failing to continue their education as they're not only able to pay school fees, but additional levies charged by principals, despite directives stopping the same by the Ministry of Education.
Mimi kama msasi mimi nafinyika sana kwa sababu nikienda kupeleka mtoto shule kuna pesa zingine nakuta huko wameongeza lakini hasina receipt.
Peter Tena, a troubled guardian, highlighted the burden of extra charges at a local school where his niece is enrolled. In addition to 53,554, Tena is required to pay additional fees for infrastructure, teacher support, and other projects, many of which are not documented and are announced during parents meetings.
Katika shule zile pesa tuliambiwa zitolewe kabisa katika mambo ya tuition zimerudishwa katika shule kwa majina tofauti. Ukienda kwa shule saa hizi kuna kiwango almost ya 10,000. Kuna pesa za kujenga, zinaitwa pesa za kujenga. Alafu kuna pesa zingine zinaongezewa shilingi 2,000. Ukihesabu hizo pesa zote zinakuja 10,000. Kama school fees ni 20,000 inakuja 30,000. Sasa tunashangaa.
Reverend Harrison Mwangi, however, emphasized that some school heads have resorted to sending students away if they cannot pay the unauthorized levies, a practice that has drawn criticism from parents and community leaders who are urging the Education Cabinet Secretary to intervene on the issue.
Nauliza CS Mwachovu na serikali yote na NAT na TSC wahusika ambao wamesimamia mambo ya shule, muweze kuangalia ule mpango mzuri.
Martin Asharia, Lookuptv.
Residents of Meti Town in Isiolo County have called upon security agencies to scale up their efforts to end human and narcotics trafficking activities through the town, practices which they said have enslaved many youths from the area. Speaking during a sports day aimed at promoting police and citizen relations organized by Isiolo Peace Link, the residents expressed their dissatisfaction in the way the police have handled the two criminal activities. Lona Mbuya with more in our county wrap.
Meti residents expressed their dissatisfaction in the way the police have been handling reported cases of human and drug trafficking in the town, calling upon security agencies to put more effort in a bid to end the menace. Sheikh Abdurrahman Jilo, a madrasa teacher in Merti, called upon the government to show more commitment to end the crimes which are plaguing the area, with many youths now deeply active in criminal activities.
Sasa changamoto yetu sasa tunataka tusaidiwe na serikali ibapo ifungwe ikomeshwe hii maneno ya dawa za kulevya hapa Merti. Ingependwa iangaliwe kwa ifuatiliwe wale wanauza hizi za madawa, alafu na pombe zimejashana hapa. Tunataka wa serikali watusaidie. Sisi kama Sheikh tumeshaongea, tuliongea mengi na tukajaribu kuzuia kiasi tunaweza.
Tana River County Senator Dansod Mungatana has hailed President William Ruto's administration for supporting ODM party leader Raila Odinga to vie for the African Union Commission chair. Mungatana, who is allied to Kenya Kwanza government, said Ruto has been proved to be a statesman for spearheading the nation in campaigning for the opposition party chief, and asked Raila to return the favor by supporting the president's re-election in 2027.
Tunataka kumpongeza Rais William Ruto sana kwa sababu serikali yake imechukua msimamo wa kumsupport Raila Odinga asimame kama chairman wa African Union Commission. Na hii ni nafasi muhimu sana kwa sababu itatusaidia sisi kama Wakenya na watu wetu wengi ambao hawajui international politics na regional politics. Tukiwa na mtu wetu pale tunapata faida nyingi ambazo zitatusaidia kama Wakenya.
Hundreds of scouts have converged together in Talent Academy, Embu Town, to commemorate the Scout Movement Founders Day, which is now devolved since 2013, but internationally marked on February 22nd every year in Nyeri, where the founder Baden Powell and his wife were buried. Embu County Deputy Governor Kinyua Mugo has emphasized that stakeholders in the education sector should put strategies to ensure that students join the Scout group to end drug abuse among the youths.
So we have a responsibility as a Scouting movement, because you are leaders of other people. Tell other students, your friends, your peers, that we must shun away from drugs, alcohol, and substance abuse.
Lona Lorraine Mbuya, Lookuptv.
Switching gears to sports news now, Bella Nashipai from Sport View Academy showed a prowess in the Nairobi and Kiambu County skating games. Nashipai led over 100 skaters to qualify for the National Skating Games that will be held on 8th of June 2024 at Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani.
The competition was good. It was intense, but hard work pays. And we are happy because now we've garnered some top numbers and we are heading for the nationals. We had a student like Shamun who has proceeded to the nationals with the number 3. We have another one, Joy, who has proceeded to the nationals with number 3 also.
Businessman Amos Butit led his team consisting of Jackson Kiprono, Wesley Kiprono and Mike Rotich to clinch the second leg title of the KCB East Africa Golf Tour at the Par 71 Eldoret Golf Club. The team combined a score of 116 points ahead of their closest challengers of the Kipchichir, Kiprop, Nelson Ogut, Patrick Kiprop and Geoffrey Kitiwa, who came second with a score of 106 points. The two teams secured a spot at the tour's grand finale December 6th this year.
First and foremost, I want to sincerely thank KCB for this marvelous competition. We all appreciate that it was a big tournament and one of the best series in the country. So in terms of how I feel honored to be have been awarded the best man and also part of the best team for the day that will be proceeding to the grand finale.
And that is it from the desk. Many thanks for watching. And those who made this bulletin a success, not forgetting their efforts, we're saying thank you from wherever you've been watching from. We're saying thank you. Later on in the bulletin, that is right now, we're getting into the conversation tonight on the illicit brew crackdown and as well as Raila's bid for the AU top position. And of course, my able panelist, Edward Githaiga, will be shedding some more light into that. Stick around for that.
Msimu wa kuvuna chapa na tatua tatu. Kuna guaranteed 1,300 vuna cash baada ya kila nusu saa na daily vuna bonus ya 1,100 kila Jumapili. Unaweza vuna hadi nusu milioni ama tuk-tuk ndani ya Tatua Bonanza Live na zawadi zinginezo. Vuna chapa leo na tatua tatu. Ingia kwa M-Pesa paybill number 150 account, weka namba zako tatu za bahati, fuatiza na neno look. Amount ni shilingi 10 hadi shilingi 1,000.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. BCLB number 000898.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
Mambo ni mawili: kufikisha, kumwaga na kurudi. Kulala ni mwaka mpya.
Muka we mse. Nini mbaya? Wewe kwani wani vile dereva anaendesha gari vibaya, lazima tususe. Anaendesha gari na kwa simu the whole time hata angalipa barabara. Mseni dereva tusimame. Wewe, mwaka iliyopita peke yake watu zaidi ya 3,000 walipoteza maisha yao barabarani kwa sababu ya tabia kama hizo. Hautatuangamiza tukiona.
Naomba msamaha, nitapeleka vizuri.
Si wameomba msamaha. Sasa twende tusafiri kwa mwendo wa aste.
Dere Smart hufikisha abiria salama. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na NTSA kwa ushirikiano na European Union.
Infinity Industrial Park is one of the largest private industrial parks located along Eastern Bypass, Nairobi, which provides modern infrastructure for smooth operations for industry and business enterprises. Infinity Industrial Park offers world-class amenities and facilities with wide roads, a police station, a power substation, fire station, public transport stage, hospital, and shopping mall. In addition, Infinity Industrial Park also offers CCTV cameras, 24-hour private armed security patrol, sewer, water, fiber optic cable, and 3-phase power connection, added to public utility, canteen, and dining areas. Sail on the golden opportunity to invest in Infinity Industrial Park fully serviced warehouses at a special price of 3,569 Kenyan shillings per square foot. For more inquiries, visit our website infinityindustrialpark.com.
If you want to have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the wheels and gears of the integral businesses in the country.
And I want to be able to make the youths and everybody coming up in Kenya know that this is here locally.
Men and women in the thick of the bust of markets rising and falling, fighting to make their business decisions stick.
I've always lived in my career that I can never be late.
You need to train by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Then from there you can compose yourself and give kind of services like this.
On season 2 of the Captain's Arena, we seek the inside of the minds, predict the shift in the markets, get inspiration to start, and make sense of it all.
Just watch what everybody else is doing and just make sure you're giving back to the society.
Oof. This is the Captain's Arena.
Welcome back, and of course it is that time for the discussion. This is Week in Focus, and on our program tonight we talk about illicit brew crackdown in the country and calls to support Raila Odinga'S bid for the African Union top job, and why RUTO's entire government has thrown weight into the matter to ensure Raila succeeds for the position. And to break it down for you viewer, in studio with me is Eric Githaiga, the Chief Inspiration Officer Africa for Haiti. And of course, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm always happy to be on Lookuptv.
Yes.
As always. This is my first prime time 9 p.m. show.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited and positive about the show today.
Yeah, many thanks for joining us. And just to start the conversation, we are having a story where all police officers and members of the national administration have been banned from owning bars anywhere across the country in a decisive move aimed at addressing the conflict of interest. The officers, that is according to the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, will now choose either to resign or continue running their business as well. Let's get that, and then we'll be having a conversation on the same.
Sure.
I have been consulting widely among friends. As the general said, he is one of my closest friends on the continent. And I intimated to him that if there
chief, an assistant county commissioner, a deputy county commissioner or county commissioner can run a bar anywhere in the country. There is no way a police officer can run a bar. That is clear conflict of interest, and it is not possible. So mimi nataka kutangaza on behalf of the president and the government kiwa hapa, wewe kama ni police officer uko na bar, uamue uache kazi uendelee na bar, ama uache bar uendelee na kazi.
And well, that is from Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua while attending the mass burial of the 17 people whom we lost due to the illicit brew. Eric, rather headed from where you sit, yes, what are your sentiments on the crackdown in the country, and what specific measures has the government done to make sure that the ongoing crack in the illicit brew will not be beyond the borders?
Thank you very much for showing that short clip by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Indeed, it's a breath of fresh air, yeah, because for the first time we're seeing a different approach by the government. Mm-hmm. I mean, the war on alcoholic illicit brew, yeah, has been with us for quite a long time. I can think maybe 30 years, mm-hmm, or so. But this is the first time we're seeing the national government really coming up with strategic tactics, yeah, to really deal with the pain, mm-hmm, of bars and alcohol use. Yeah. So going by the clip you showed us there where the Deputy President talked about the bar owners, yeah, being police officers, people working for government, mm-hmm, especially in the enforcement, and he said clearly that he cannot, there has no they don't have any reason to continue working as enforcement officers if they're going to run those bars. And indeed, because of those interests perhaps that the police had, this could have led to the great illicit brew industry that has been thriving for a long time. It clearly shows that the Deputy President understands that the police officers are supposed to enforce, not to be lax with the work they're doing. So we really appreciate what the government is doing, because in the end of the day, for even the bottom-up agenda to be successful, you need a healthy, sober, focused population. And if we have quite a big number of young people, very unfortunate for the deaths of those 17 and many other souls that have been lost due to illicit alcohol. Indeed, this is a fight that the government is taking serious, and it has shown its seriousness from the beginning. Just to point out a bit what the Deputy President has been doing, where this fight started off in Mount Kenya, and he has really followed up and shown a lot of strong leadership. And this commitment that he has shown has led to quite significant awareness creation on that. And apart from the awareness creation, action is being seen on the ground.
Yeah, and just on that, we've seen now it's a crackdown that is happening in the whole country. But of course, we're having some businesses that are run legitimately. That is just from the offices and the people, that is from the offices and the DCC that have been told to shun from the business. But now, what happens to the economy if we're having the legitimate businesses going to be shut down?
You see, we have to get to a point as a nation where we have to agree what comes first. If you look at the history of alcohol globally, alcohol, actually, we lose 3 million people according to the WHO globally. I think in Kenya, alcohol-related deaths run to the thousands per year. And therefore, this is a national disaster. This is something that we need to deal with once and for all. And you can see even what the Deputy President is doing, what the President is doing, what even the spouse of the Deputy President is doing, as she's locally known as Mama Boys, in terms of social health rehabilitation of the man, the boy child, who especially has suffered quite a lot because of the alcohol. And you can even see now Kindiki has come up with a national operation whereby they are going to curtail and bring to an end the manufacturing and the production of illicit brew, because this illicit brew is actually a detriment than a positive one. However, because the laws of Kenya do allow alcohol consumption with control, and this is what I would like to actually acknowledge His Excellency Governor Sakaja of Nairobi County. You remember sometime last year, people were fighting him because he tried to have Alcohol Control Act implemented in Nairobi, especially in the estates, because this is where we have young kids, children, university students using and abusing alcohol. And alcohol also leads to alcoholism and alcohol-related effects like mental health issues. And that's why you see our young people look helpless because of the alcohol consumption. And furthermore, I personally, I would appreciate if the Deputy President and His Excellency Sakaja would look into the importation factor. Because what we also have, apart from the illicit brew that is being manufactured illegally here, there is an influx of proper alcohol, but there is an influx of importation. I mean, alcohol is being imported in its, what do you call it, cubic meters. And this alcohol, how much is it costing our economy? And who's really making the money in this alcohol? So we require much more stricter regulations to how much alcohol can be imported into our country. Because if we can regulate the alcohol production and get proper alcohol manufacturing according to standards, we would rather invite those companies that are manufacturing alcohol abroad to come and manufacture here in Kenya so that they can create employment for people of Kenya. Because it's quite a loss economically, financially, when all our money goes abroad and yet our industries here are left struggling. So that we can improve from the third generation and become a better local alcohol producing country. Yes.
Now that you mentioned that the regulation, if it happens, maybe we might achieve maybe an alcohol-free country. The illicit brew and the alcohol industry really contributes to the economy of the country. Now, what happens to those people that depend on the illicit brew and the alcohol businesses to make their fortunes?
I mean, like I said earlier, there is nowhere in the world you'll be allowed to continue making money illicitly or illicit money. It's against the Constitution, it's against the penal code, it cannot be accepted. Therefore, those people who are engaged in illicit alcohol production look for another business. Because the government of Kenya Kwanza is serious about dealing with alcohol production. Because they understand. And I don't know why today it seems like this war on alcohol is mainly moving towards Rigathi Gachagua. He pointed out that Kenya was about to lose a whole generation of young people. And these young people, the things they are consuming are being produced by manufacturers who are illicit. So there is no way in this day and age we can accept that, and it's unacceptable. Therefore, look for another career. Engage in more legal means of producing alcohol. Get proper investors to work with you so that you can do the proper business, not the illegal alcohol. Because it leads to death, it leads to more loss of life, it leads to more family breakages, it leads to health complications, and mainly it brings down our economy. Because any Kenyan who is slowed down in his production, in his daily activity because of alcohol, then that means even the Kenya government will not get taxes as they require. The economy will not grow to the level it's supposed to be, and the cost of health will be higher because we will have to treat more alcohol-related issues.
And again, what strategies do you think maybe there might be put in place to make sure that the resurgence of illicit brew in the country doesn't escalate?
Definitely. There are those strategies that have to be put in place. For example, when we look at the health services, we need a health service that is more responsive towards alcohol addiction. Let us not stigmatize people with alcoholic issues. Let the hospitals be able to offer proper mental health counseling and alcohol reduction systems. We also have community action. We can have the community level, creating more awareness, bringing focus group discussions within the community so that the community can raise the awareness of the young people and the consumers of alcohol, showing them the dangers that they are going to go through. Another thing is having drink and driving policies and enforcing them. Because once the alcohol is consumed, then most of the times we see people driving cars and causing major road accidents, and we're losing innocent lives. The other strategy is to reduce the availability of alcohol. I mean, when you walk around in Nairobi, you can see alcohol readily available. And this is leading to, because it's available, many Kenyans, because perhaps due to mental distress, stress, lack of employment, there are many underlying issues to why people use alcohol. However, the availability of alcohol is one of the reasons that there is a market for this alcohol. Even the marketing, the government needs to regulate marketing. I remember back in the days during Motudho's time, former Nakada chief Motudho,
that's true,
he had come up with strict marketing strategies whereby it was illegal to put up a billboard, advertising alcohol. Today, you drive on the highways, you drive on the streets, you drive everywhere. You're seeing all these billboards. What happened to the regulations? So therefore, we are calling upon government to deal with this multi-sectoral matter in different ways by having NACADA have more enforcement and ensuring availability and marketing of alcohol is controlled. And the other one is pricing policies. You see, I remember the Minister of Trade, former Minister of Trade, Moses Kuria, talked about there is no way a 200 ml or 250 ml spirit alcohol can cost less than 200 shillings. And yet when you go to the market today, you readily find alcohol costing that much. Clearly it shows you that there are some shortcuts, because if you're going to produce alcohol to the level according to the regulation, it must be more expensive because of cost of production and also the checks that go through, that alcohol has to go through, which you have to get certification. So the cost, where the pricing policy has to be looked into. And as I sum up also, we need to do more monitoring and surveillance. The police need to be on high alert. They already know who is manufacturing the illicit brew. They need to increase their surveillance, and also at the point of production, I am sure the regulatory bodies have a testing part to see the content. Is it the content that is allowed by the public health, or is it beyond? For example, a component such as ethanol, which is now actually was one of the hardest components to find back in the days, is now readily available. So surveillance and regulation. So we're talking about NACADA surveillance, police surveillance, licensing surveillance, county surveillance, through the Alcohol and Control Board. Like in Nairobi County, I'd like to recognize the great work the governor of Nairobi has been doing, where he's taken a multi-sectoral approach by bringing the bar owners, the manufacturers into a committee together with the Alcohol Control Board, so that they can find a holistic solution. Because you know, Nairobi is actually the industrial town of Kenya, or the city. So a lot of this manufacturing is happening here. So we expect much more to be done. Yes.
You mentioned something to do with the police surveillance and all that. While growing up, all of us in the village, we've seen the dens where the illicit brew is made. But most of the times we've had the police officers come to those places and then they can do literally nothing. Do you think maybe we are headed somewhere if something is done?
Definitely. When we start dealing with the police officers at the high level, at the county level, county commander level, provincial police commander level, that if there is any death that occurs because of illicit brew in your county, the national government, the executive government of His Excellency William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua will hold that particular county administrator or police commander liable. So now there is no more excuse for the local chief to say that there is a power above them that is receiving something and allowing this to go on. Everybody has to be responsible. And in fact, there is an oath of office. Every chief, every administrator takes. This is the time that oath of office has to be in operation. Because we need to have a reformed, transformed, and booming country. A country that deserves to be better than where it is. And alcohol consumption, both economically, financially, socially, has cost this country enormous. So this is the best time to fight against this, so that we can restore the dignity of this country, we can restore the sanity of homes and houses and families, because alcohol has really destroyed this nation. And at the same time, because it's also a service industry within the tourism sector, it has also created employment. But that is when alcohol is being consumed as per the control.
Yeah.
But what we are seeing of late, we are seeing a lot of illicit alcohol consumption and production. Yes.
Thank you so much for your sentiments. Let's switch gears to the Raila's bid to clinch for the top position in the AU. Siaya Governor James Orengo added his voice to those endorsing the candidature of Azimio leader Raila Odinga for the position of the chairman of the African Union Commission. He says that Odinga has got vast experience, impeccable credentials and great vision for the continent. And of course, many other leaders are in support for the Raila's bid for the AU, including the UDA party. Let's take a look at what Raila says about if he gets the position.
I have been consulting widely among friends. As the general said, he is one of my closest friends on the continent. And I intimated to him that if there should be interest, I will myself be keen to serve the continent of Africa. I am inclined to accept the challenge. Should the leadership of Africa want my services, I am ready and offer myself to be of service to this continent. And I've asked my friend to continue to be a good ambassador and talk to other people elsewhere. And therefore today I want to make it public that I'm ready, yes, to go for the chairmanship of the African Union. Africa is the richest continent on the planet Earth in terms of minerals and general raw materials.
And that was Raila Odinga, the Azimio chief, saying that the position for the AU is best described for that. And of course, from you where you sit, Edward, could it be a trap door? Why is the government more so ensuring that they want the Raila to get the seat?
Wow. I think we should not look at it that way. We should be thanking the government of William Samoei Ruto for actually spearheading this entire matter. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the PS of Foreign Affairs, the Cabinet Secretary of Foreign Affairs, who you saw the other day when he was at the African Union Heads of State pre-summit. And he gave the speech of the president. And now, as you know, today and yesterday, the president has been in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, for the Heads of State Summit. So therefore, I don't want us to politicize this matter. In fact, it would be wrong to politicize such a Pan-African move. And indeed, it shows that our president is a true patriot and a true Pan-African who sees beyond the party politics that majority of the people look through. Raila Odinga is actually more suitable for this. Secondly, East Africa has not served as the AU chairmanship of late. And I know we've served before, but of late we've had South Africa, that was before Faki. And then we had now Faki from West Africa. And before that we had, before South Africa, we had North Africa. Now it's time for East Africa. And when the president, in his wisdom and his advisors, saw that Raila Odinga was the most suitable, indeed he is the most suitable. First of all, Raila Odinga comes with a big experience, a lot of experience, especially dealing in African matters. Raila Odinga was a high envoy for infrastructure at the AU for the last 3 or 4 years. Raila Odinga has got networks all over Africa. As you saw the other day, Obasanjo, General Obasanjo, former president of Nigeria, was here to break the news and to show support. And he also went to meet the president in Nyeri. And so you can see that Raila Odinga is a statesman. And indeed, Africa needs Raila Odinga.
But now many
Raila Odinga has fought for democracy. Raila Odinga has been consistent in that matter of transforming countries. Whether he's won an election in Kenya or not, that's a discussion for another day. But today, we're raising the flag of Kenya with Raila Amolo Odinga. And like any Kenyan who goes out there representing our country, it is our obligation and our patriotic obligation to support them 100%.
I like that. But many could be asking, what happens to the opposition now when he clinches the top seat, or rather if he gets the job?
You see, first of all, remember even when the clip you showed us, Raila talked about Africa is the richest continent. Brother, put politics aside. We need, listen, no, I'm saying, forget about the gap for now. The gap that Raila has identified, that Africa is the richest continent, that is the most important thing for Africa today. Because we have Eastern Congo, full of minerals. We have all over Africa, even here in Kenya, we are full of minerals, yet we are the poorest continent in the world. So we need a brave leader. We need a courageous leader. We need a leader like Raila Amolo Odinga who will go out there and conquer for Africa. And I know he will be supported by William Samoei Ruto, and they will work together hand in hand. Because as you know, one thing you're forgetting also is the announcement which you have not made, that William Samoei Ruto just ended his chairmanship as a climate action at the AU Commission and was given a new leadership role for institutional reforms. So it clearly shows you that Raila Odinga has accepted that William Samoei Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya, rightfully elected, and the country is ready to move on.
Does it mean that when Raila Odinga now gets the seat, the politics and all that, the ODM recruitment drive that has been ongoing in the country, does it mean we'll come to a standstill?
You see, Raila Odinga has got his own choice, and he's made a choice to be non-political. He's out of the political game for now. That gives young people and other people of ODM and that side to set up, organize themselves, because 2027 is still far away, so we don't want to discuss that now. What we want to focus is, you know, the name RAO, R-A-O, it's got a new abbreviation which means Revive Africa Once More. That's what we want to focus on. Raila reviving Africa so that Africa can reach its global and desired position.
Okay, now that maybe Raila Odinga gets the seat, as a country, how best do we benefit? Just winding up.
Yes, we best benefit because, first of all, we have Raila as the AU president or the AU chairman. So obviously, you know, charity begins at home. We expect Raila Odinga to favor Kenya and look at Kenya with favorable eyes, because we are the ones who have gotten him where he is. Secondly, I expect that Raila Odinga is going to work with a lot of respect and honor with His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, and he will go and take back his words of saying that William Ruto is an absentee president. You can clearly see the trips that William Samoei Ruto has been taking have bore fruit even for the opposition leader. The same opposition leader who was accusing William Samoei Ruto is today going to become a beneficiary of William Samoei Ruto's travels abroad. Just like William Samoei Ruto said, he's creating jobs with his trips abroad. The bilateral agreements. You understand? Yes.
Thank you so much, Edward, for your sentiments. And of course, that brings some light on why we need Raila Odinga on that seat. And of course, thank you for sharing some light on the illicit brew crackdown in the country. That was Edward Githaiga, the Chief Inspiration Officer for Africa 480. And many thanks for joining us for this peaceful discussion about what happened throughout the week. That is it from the desk. My name is John Matava. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Josephine Ouko. Good night. Bye-bye for now.